Hello, how are you all doing? This is your goddess guru, Tirra Lade. Y'all know I love helping the sisters, all you women out there, align with your life purpose using ancient wisdom so that you confidently and courageously live the amazing lives you know you deserve. It's all about the goddess centered lifestyle, living according to your own cycles, your own wisdom. And so, what I wanted to do today, is something I love doing at the top of the week, which is sharing some affirmations. Because I know when we begin to take this time out with intention and to consciously wrap ourselves around wisdom or inspiration of some sort, it becomes a guiding light for us that we can take into the entire week as we, interact and have maybe bump up against some things. We can use this wisdom to help us make a choice as to which decision we want, or which make a choice about which direction we're going to take in our lives. So I went to my affirmations deck and I pulled two affirmations. And I think I'm going to start with I am compassionate. I started talking about having compassion last week. Actually, I made a post about it. It was a quote that I saw, and I just thought this quote is too good to pass up. And it essentially is, if your compassion doesn't include self-compassion, it's incomplete. All right. We need to be giving ourselves some self-compassion. I hope that my internet isn't breaking up, because I'm seeing the signs that I might be having a few internet issues, but just pardon me if we are. Okay, so I am compassionate. I move with consciousness and care and practice self-forgiveness to love myself as I am. I move with consciousness and care. That's something that's important for us to think about as we go through our week. Just being a tornado, just wildly going through our week, busy, 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 and so connected to what's going on outside of us. What is it that we've got to take care of? It's important for us to at least take some moments. And one of the things I say is work, rest, work, rest. Take some moments where we just stop and say, you know what? Am I thirsty? Do I need to just take a moment and sit here and, just give my mind a break? Just take a break. I know I'm super busy, but guess what? I'm super stressed, and I'm just going to take this moment. I don't care what's going on right now. No one's life is in danger. I'm taking this moment. I'm taking this moment to just relax and chill out for a moment. Maybe it's every day. If you know that you're having a very busy week, you're going to come in and you're going to make sure you do something to love on yourself. Maybe it's, I'll take a bath every day, or maybe it's, you're going to listen to something that helps to soothe you. We want to make sure that whatever we're doing, this is beneficial. We do a lot of, one of my coaches, let's see here, I know one is Nourish, and one is sort of like you're just doing it to comfort yourself, right? It may not be the most beneficial thing, but you're doing it to comfort yourself. And then there's other things that we do to cope, but these are more like, to our detriment. Okay. So we're wanting to make sure that we are as far down the care continuum in terms of its beneficial as we possibly can be. Okay. This is what compassion is. Compassion is also, you know what? I know that I said I was going to do A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and I only got to A, B, C. It's okay. It's really okay. Sometimes I say to myself, on the day that I die, will I even remember that I didn't finish D, E, F, G, all of that? Will I even remember? Will I? Probably not. It's okay. Just cut yourself some slack. Let's see here. Hopefully my internet is not too jacked. I think too many of us in the house are using the internet right now. I move with consciousness and care and practice self-forgiveness to love myself as I am. All right, sisters, we've got to love ourselves as we are. And yes, I probably should have done this over Zoom. Anywho, we'll see. I'll listen to it and hopefully the replay will be okay. But it looks like my internet is messed up. So I'm just going to keep on moving. Let's talk about I am centered. I am centered. I focus on my breath and stabilize my emotions. I am centered. And honestly, that is so important with I am centered, focusing on your breath and taking that time to slow the breath down. Inhale slowly and deeply, and exhale slowly and deeply. It's so important to help us to begin to bring ourselves back to this place of being centered. Um, and it brings us into the present moment, and it allows us to see exactly what is it that we need to do. Maybe it helps us to understand how to better care for ourselves, how to have more compassion for ourselves in the moment. Maybe it brings more mental clarity on whatever it is that we're working on. But being centered and in the moment is one of the best. How do I describe this? Um, when we're looking at our spiritual growth and evolution, the question is, how centered am I into this now moment? How much time am I spending in the future or in the past versus in the now? When we find that we are living in the moment, the majority of the time, we're not away from this moment. We're here. This is a, a guide, a standard that you can use as to how far down the continuum are you getting in your spiritual practices and evolution. Okay. And of course, we don't judge ourselves if we find ourselves, because pretty much all of us have trained ourselves, not because we're bad people, but we are not taught to live centered and in the moment. We're just not taught to do that. And so we pretty much have trained ourselves, and a lot of it is survival mechanism. Be in the future, be in the past. It's the only way to survive. It's the only way to keep yourself going and motivated. But when we really embrace this energy of being centered in the moment, this is where real possibility lies. This is where choices, this is where our power is to affect change in our lives. Maybe I can't just change it overnight and just change everything today, but I can begin to take a baby step, which is still a quantum step in the direction of wherever it is I want to take my life. Okay. Why are these so important for this week? I am compassionate. I am centered. Well, I'm glad you asked. We have going on this week uh, a major astrological transit that could rock some of us. I'm just being honest with you. I'm not trying to be hyperbolic or anything. This thing is no joke. It's very rough. The Saturn, no, that's next week. We have the eclipse this week. I've jumped ahead. We have the eclipse this week. Eclipses bring sweeping change. But rest assured, the first one that I talked about, where we could feel rocked, that energy is in effect right here, right now. Okay. It's in effect. So it's a lot that it feels like we could just be tossed up in the air. It's just this energy of change and this energy of pressure on us. And so the more we have compassion for ourselves and stop beating up on ourselves, and instead, it's something that I do is I keep this little picture of me right here. This is little 5-year-old Tirra. And I'll force myself to look at her and say, what, she's still inside of me. Like, really? Is this how you're going to talk to 5-year-old Tirra? I have 4-year-old Tirra up there. I look at her and I'm like, is this how you would talk to her? 51-year-old Tirra says, no, I would never talk to my baby girls like that. And so I have to say, well, why are you talking to 51-year-old Tirra like this? Because when you're 52, you're going to be looking back like, that's my little sister. Why could I talk to my little sister like that? Right? I still have 50-year-old Tirra in me. And I think to myself, all my sisters who are younger than me, I do everything I can to lift them up. That's why if our compassion is out there for everybody, but it's not for us, it's incomplete. And so this is a week where we need to have some compassion. We need to put some tools in place some reminders in place of how we will call this energy back up. And excuse me, y'all, walk with this compassion, because it could be a rough week. It could be a great week. It really could be. Even sometimes in great weeks, being centered is necessary, right? It could still be a wonderful week, and we still have to remind ourselves, stay anchored in this moment. Because good things could be happening, and we're letting our minds float into, oh my gosh, I hope nothing bad follows. If you like me, this is a pattern that I'm working to release. Just because something good happens doesn't mean something bad is going to happen. This is a pattern that I picked up from my childhood, right? All of us can be more centered in the moment. All of us can make sure that we're putting something in place to check in with our breath. All right. So that's what I have for you all this week. I hope that, that y'all were able to hear everything, given that my internet was messing up for part of this. But thank you all so much. Give me feedback. I would love to hear from you on, what's your self-compassion game? Now, you know what? It said I am compassionate. It said I'm compassionate. Who do we need to have compassion for this week? That's something else I would ask myself too. That I'm putting this out for you to ask yourself. Who can you extend more compassion to? One of the ways that I've been choosing to extend more compassion to people is by just saying, you know what? I'm not judging anything. As soon as I hear it come up, I release it and I let go. Just let people live their lives. And I will live mine to the best of my ability, because it's the only life I have really any control over. Oftentimes we hear about compassion is allowing ourselves to be in somebody else's shoes, like what we really feel what's going on with them. And therefore, we're willing to take action of some sort. So is there something you can do to extend compassion? Maybe there is some charity that you would love to get in on their mission and help them out. Helping people who need a helping hand. This is something that I used to hear quite a bit as a kid. Folks ain't looking for a handout. They're just looking for a hand. This is compassion. This is compassion. So how can we be more compassionate in our day-to-day interactions with other people? And remember, I talked about in a video at the beginning of this week, or last week, I should say, where I said, what I do to everybody I meet, I'm just meeting myself, because it's one energy. Somebody could look totally different from me, speak a whole different language, but guess what? They are me. And so it behooves us to extend compassion to everyone we meet. Because even if we feel like we're meeting the worst person that we have ever met in our lives, as we extend compassion to that person, whatever that looks like, because sometimes compassion is, I just did not cuss you out today. Okay, that's my compassion to you. I did not cuss you out when you deserved that cuss out. I just went on ahead and let you have your bad day and I walked away. That could be compassion. I'm gonna give that to some of y'all, because some of y'all know y'all don't mind going off, and I'm not mad at you for that. Because I'm not one of those people. I look at y'all and I'm like, dang, I wish I could do that some days. Maybe compassion is, I'm going to tell you exactly what's on my mind, because I never tell you what's on my mind. And you need to know what's going on with me. And so I'm going to tell you, because truth right now is telling the truth right now is the most compassionate thing I can do for you, to alleviate you from having questions about maybe why I'm acting the way that I'm acting, or why I do or don't do what I'm doing, why I do or don't do a certain thing. So as we extend compassion to other people, compassion is like, I think about when Michael Beckwith said in The Secret, a positive thought is thousands of times more powerful than a negative one. This is how I see something like compassion. Is more powerful than something negative that I do to somebody. Even though I know the negative things that happen to people, they can change them. It can change you to your core. I'm one of these people that this has happened to, and I know the amount of work it takes to come back from some of this is incredible. And you almost wonder, am I ever going to get there? But guess what? The more compassion people have shown me on my path to healing, the more I step into my humanness, this part of myself that's about feeling and, this experience that I came here to have and the whole gamut of it, not just a piece of it, operating from this broken piece. The more people have shown me compassion, the more I'm able to extend compassion to other people. This is my experience. This is what I know. And this is why I go out of my way. Sometimes it's people that make me feel like I can't stand this person. But I remember when I acted the same way and they didn't hold it against me. They just were like, you know what? I love you no matter what. I'm going to still just treat you with dignity and respect. And that changed me. It made me say, and I've never been like a super mean person or anything, but I've been somebody who's on the defense. And when my mother-in-law is a great example. She never got offended. Like she was always like, okay, and she just would not treat me any differently. She wouldn't hold it against me, nothing. And it started changing me like, oh, I don't have to always be on the defense, and it softened me down. I can't remember who I've been talking to, but we talked about this, what word was used? I just used the word soften down, where you feel more pliable and you feel lush on the inside. This is what compassion can do for people. Being more compassionate with yourself, but being compassionate to somebody else, especially if your cup is full and you can extend compassion to somebody. Sometimes if your cup is not full, the best way you can extend compassion to somebody is if they treat you wrong, extend compassion to yourself and say, hey, I'm getting the heck up out of here. I ain't gonna just let you treat me any old kind of way. Right. So yeah, compassion is something that I think could create quantum shifts for the better. And it's not a wimpy thing. It's a superpower that a lot of people actually have problems implementing. If compassion was so easy, then everybody would be doing it. But a lot of people, it's no fault of their own. We all have to be on our own path in their journey and learn these kinds of things, okay? We're going ahead, take those deep breaths, put your hands over your heart, and that can help you to become more centered. Maybe begin to go down a list of things that you're thankful for and begin to give thanks for what is going right in your life to help bring you into this moment of right here, right now, so that you're not just racing. You're not just racing out there. You're not just moving through life like a tornado, a whirlwind, feeling uncentered, feeling unanchored, not feeling in your body. This is what doing our centering practices, are all about. I've been creating mindfulness recordings for you all and posting some of them public for you all to use, but find whichever ones work for you. There's lots out there. Find some mindfulness practices because that's what mindfulness is about. It's about bringing you into the now moment. And the other thing that I love about mindfulness is it's not about necessarily everything having to be so perfect, and it's also Zen, which is nice. Don't get me wrong. I want that for you. But mindfulness oftentimes allows us to become present in the moment, aware, and able to sit with what's here. And oftentimes when we're able to just sit with it, we can begin to see maybe this isn't a big deal, or, okay, this is perhaps what I need to do. I've been talking about how folks have so many stories. There's so many stories we tell ourselves. We're the best storytellers ever. So many stories. So how can we begin to maybe soften down some of these stories and open up the possibility for writing a new story for ourselves? This is what mindfulness does. And mindfulness is about bringing us more into this moment, like right within ourselves, being centered. Okay. So thank you all so much. I wish for you an amazing week. This is our second full week in June, if I'm correct. No, this is our first full week. But anywho, June 6th through the 12th. I wish you an amazing new moon eclipse. And, just continue to take what I've shared with you into the rest of this month. To be honest with you, this is not the easiest month. Okay. So take it with you into this month, and you're going to nail June. Okay. June is amazing for you. Even if challenges appear, who, who says a good challenge isn't something that, isn't great, can't be beneficial? So, yeah, it's just my hope that June truly is one where you're like, you know what? I'm better for it. I'm better for it. So, thank you all so much. Let me know how things are going. What are you taking from what I've shared with you today? What are some of your centering practices, or what have you been doing to extend compassion to yourself and to others? I would love it if you gave me some love with a thumbs up, a heart, or whatever it is, wherever you're watching this. Also, please know I have an Inner Circle membership community where I share like this on a regular basis, even more. But yeah, my goal is to make sure that you all realize we don't have to be walking around here not understanding and not knowing. So equipping you with the tools in the community and me as your guide to help you stay on that straight and narrow towards your destiny, your intentions, your goals, peace, love, harmony, whatever it is that you want in your life. But I am open for readings. goddessbodymindspirit.com. If you also want a reading by a class, or to become a member of my goddess community. Thank you. Love you all so much. Have a wonderful week, and know that I am cheering for you. All right. Peace and love.